We start here, though, with our reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo. The Operation Covid-19 Fund, which is an umbrella for a group of non-profit organizations, will deliver food aid to the Gauteng Social Development Department this afternoon. The group has already delivered tens of thousands of soap bars to communities such as Diepsloot as part of their coronavirus awareness drive. Now, according to the group, money and goods worth over 3 million rand have been distributed so far. Ziyanda starts us off with that story. Ziyanda, what are we looking at there behind you? What sort of food is being delivered and who is going to be benefiting from this donation?
Well, Thabo, we're here in Boysens at a warehouse owned by the Gauteng Social Development Department. Right behind me is a truck, Thabo, which is unloading food there. You'll see that's Impala. That is food that is being unloaded. Now, what is happening is that the Operation COVID-19 Fund is working with the Gauteng Social Development Department, where they are actually going on a drive to raise funds and asking corporates to donate food. I'm actually going to ask Lesego to turn around and show you what's happening in this warehouse. And in this particular warehouse, there's been a collection of things. There's mattresses, there's non-perishables, there's soap over here, Thabo, and all this that you're seeing right now, all these items are going to be delivered to the various shelters, Thabo, that have been identified by the Social Development Department. And so we're also expecting the head of the Social Development side of things, that's MEC Panyaza Lesufi, to arrive here any moment, because what we know is that this food is going to be distributed to the various shelters. But I'm also going to bring in Yusuf Abramji. He's also with Operation COVID-19 Fund. Thank you so much for your time, Yusuf. I want you to kick us off with just showing us what exactly you have on display here and what exactly you've decided to give to the destitute.
Well, this is the central warehouse of the Gauteng Social Development Department. All the donations are coming through to this particular warehouse. From here, the goods are then, as you can see in the background, the food hampers are being prepared. A lot of the bulk items are stored here, but we don't want the warehouse to be full. As soon as the items come in, we want it to go out. And as you can see, a truck is being loaded for Bank. This is one of 3 loads that have already gone out today. On average, about 15 tons of essential food items, soaps, sanitizers are leaving this warehouse. So the preparation of the hampers take place here. The items come in bulk. And as you can see, a bottle of oil, some rice, some maize meal, sugar, peanut butter, and so on. And depending on what we have, the items are then packaged and immediately they go on to the various food banks and the shelters. The response so far has been brilliant from civil society, from companies. We have Telesure donating R1 million, but a lot of work still lies ahead. We also have dignity packs. We've had a donation of about 600 mattresses. Most of it have gone out to homeless people at the weekend. We've had a donation and we purchased about 2,000 blankets. And again, the work must continue. You know, as the bulk items arrive here, and as you can see, they're busy preparing, Ziyanda, to get the food hampers ready. Tin foods and meals that can be easily used is the focus. So
not much social distancing here, though, Yusuf.
There needs to be social distancing. They need to be 2 meters at least apart. We've got a corned meat, we've got baked beans, we've got other items being prepared. And all these other hampers that have now already been fixed. For example, this is a different pack, Ziyanda. This is a pack that was just done this morning. You have a lot of tin foods, you have rice, you have a number of other items. So these go out to the people in need, the vulnerable, the destitute, the needy. But also the bulk items are going to food banks and to shelters where freshly prepared meals are being made. The need is just massive. You know, we're getting requests, thousands of people saying we want food, and we can only help as much as the donations come in.
I want to jump in there, Yusuf, because I want us to talk about the fact that, yes, the Gauteng and all the other provinces, for that matter, under social development have identified areas where the food shelters for the homeless and the destitute, but there are also a lot of those who may still be in need of help. How do they reach you, Yusuf, and how are you actually assisting those who may not be formally registered anywhere?
Well, my appeal, Ziyanda, is to NGOs that are registered. Continue working in your community. Make sure you are registered with the local municipality or the council and or with the provincial authorities. social development nationally also has a program. When you go out with your volunteers, make sure that they have necessary permits. We don't want people to be arrested just going out with a good intention of serving and serving people with meals. This particular project is largely for Gauteng. In other provinces, a number of NGOs are active. I'm happy to see that the Western Cape government has made 53 million rand additional food aid available. And again, the Solidarity Fund has 2-3 billion rand already in the account. I don't know why government is waiting. They need to release the money to the provinces, to the NGOs, to the municipalities, so that we can get more of this aid to the people that need it most. But a lot of charities are active. We need to work in a very coordinated way. That is why we left the distribution to the department. We have got the former Auditor General Shaukat Faki from the South African National Zakat Fund, our partners. In fact, he's just joined me here. And Shaukat Faki is one of the people that oversees to make sure that the aid reaches the people in need. We don't want to delay the delivery of items. We need to make sure that goods go out very quickly. And one of the tasks that Shaukat Faki has is to make sure that the checks and balances are in place, because very often these items can go missing, they can get stolen. We don't want that to happen. This is public funds. We have a trust to make sure that the funds that are allocated goes to the right people.
I want to bring in Mr. Fakia. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I just want us to actually, as we walk through this particular facility, just tell us how you're going about the checks and balances. We know you have a bank account that's running in order to actually have people, even citizens, just donate money. Is there a website that has been started so that people can actually, see where the money's gone so far and how it's been used and where exactly it's gone?
Yes, we do. The website is www.sanzap.org.za, and in there you must look for the COVID-19 initiative, and it will give you an update of all the money that's come in up to date. And I can tell you now, from the time we started this initiative, it was on Thursday when the lockdown started, we collected 3.8 million rand, approximately, or thereabout. We have distributed over 3 million rand. So we have in the region of about 700,000 in the bank account still, and we are continually buying stuff. As we get money in, we're ordering stuff and we're buying things. The stuff comes here. When the goods land here, there's a good receive note gets completed, gets logged onto the computer system, and we know that goods are received. As the goods are being dispatched, there's a delivery note saying that these goods are going out either to the food bank, regional food bank, or to the beneficiaries, and which beneficiary it's gone out to. And there's a record of all movements of goods coming in and out. And on a weekly basis, this warehouse does a stock take to make sure that the difference between what came in, one went out, should be in the stock here, and they reconcile that on a weekly basis. We are very comfortable with the checks and balance that's here. We've been receiving goods in kind as well. So people have not, a lot of people have put money into the account, but of that 3.8 million, there's about 500,000 rand where people gave us goods in kind, where they actually came and dropped off mattresses here or whatever. We value those goods. We receipt it and then we distribute it. And
just for clarity, sorry to interrupt, this is not money that's been received from the Solidarity Fund at all. This is just Good Samaritans, corporates and NGOs coming together and coordinating efforts to provide relief during this time.
That's exactly right. We've gone through, particularly Yusuf has gone through, reached out to a lot of the corporates, a lot of the people, and basically appealed to them to open their hearts, dig deep into their pockets for this initiative. And they have come to the party. I must say we're only halfway through the lockdown period. Our target was 10 million rand. We're sitting at 3.8 million. We'd like people to continue digging in the pocket and let us achieve our target of 10 million rand by the 21 days.
Are you at all concerned that the goodwill of certain citizens may run out with the possibility of this lockdown being extended looming? Do you think that if government doesn't come on board, that you may find yourselves not being able to continue this work that you're seeing right now?
That's a possibility, what they call donor fatigue. Very much so. You could get a donor fatigue syndrome coming in. But I must tell you, the South Africans have been phenomenal. They've opened their hearts. But we do need government funding in this thing. We need solidarity funding. I think the Solidarity Fund is considering looking at providing some funding for food aid. And we hope that those funds can come through, because the need out there is massive. It's so huge. It's unbelievable and the issue of food security is critical for the people out there. You don't want people going out on a rampage because they don't have food and they're dying of hunger, rather than COVID-19.
That's right. There you have it, Thabo. That's the former Auditor General. But I'm actually, before I let you go, the MEC has just arrived. Thank you so much for your time, MEC. You're live on Newzroom Africa. MEC, just take us your reflections right now in terms of this kind of coordination, but also the issue they've raised that the Solidarity Fund actually hasn't, distributed money for initiatives like this. And in actual fact, there might at some stage become, there might be donor fatigue.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity. I think every support that we receive, we want to appreciate it and thank all the teams that are giving us their donations, their hard-earned resources for us to assist the weak and the vulnerable. I think the Solidarity Fund will definitely come on board. They've made contact with the province, trying to identify institutions that can roll out some of the assistance that they need. I think when we link them up with relevant institutions, then they'll be in a position to give the assistance out here. But it's meant for the vulnerable, the weak and the poor, and we have to ensure that we protect that. We safeguard the quality of the food, the delivery, but most importantly, let it reach those that are waiting for it so that we can flatten the curve as quickly as possible.
Speaking about it reaching those who need it, MEC, I mean, for an example, I was at the Caledonian Stadium, yes, where, homeless people were being sheltered. I understand they have been moved, but there still seems to be a gap when it comes to finding the really vulnerable people, because not everyone was there, but also the quality of the kinds of shelter and services that you are providing right now also came into question. Water and sanitation, which is critical for the prevention of COVID-19, also came into question. Your reflections, and what are you doing?
The reality is that me and you underestimated the number of people that need government assistance. And the truth is, when the announcement was made, all of us, we didn't know that we'll have a 21-day shutdown. So we had to chase the targets as quickly as possible. And therefore, changing a flat tire while the car is moving, it's not easy because you'll hit potholes, you'll have challenges, but we now have full control of the week. We can check the water that has been loaded now. We know where it's needed. We have sent sanitizers where they're needed. So even the one that were at Caledonian Stadium, I addressed them personally. We've started to move them. In the next 72 hours, we really believe that place will be cleared up. But the reality is, we don't know where are other people. So if they crop up tomorrow, we can't say we closed Caledonian, so we can't take you there, because that place must remain a screening center, but not a permanent shelter, to screen them so that we can separate them and provide those that need immediate assistance immediately, so that you don't delay. And that's the reason why we have that stadium. But you'll see later this afternoon, we are launching a huge new home for the homeless in Tshwane, where everyone that will now come from our screening centers will be taken into that new home.
Well, thank you very much. Well, that's MEC Panyaza Lesufi. Of course, he is managing the social development efforts in the province when it comes to providing relief for the vulnerable and destitute as the lockdown continues. We are in day 11, and of course reflecting on the difficulty that they found and had in terms of tracing down those who are really in need. We know that it's not easy to find them. They may not be registered. Some may not even have IDs. And so a warehouse such as this one is going to be assisting those shelters that have been identified so far, but the MEC is saying the work continues. Thabo.